Hello, welcome to the workshop. My name's Janet, nice to see you again. Today, I had an idea. I've always wanted to do a collection video. Specifically, one detailing the admittedly rather large collection of 45mm scaled, or gauged rather, vehicles I have here on the table, which is all of them. This might be a long one, so strap in. And I have somewhat of an idea of how to do this. Let's hope it doesn't look absolutely horrible. We'll start where we logically start, which is the start of the collection, which started with her. This is a heavily modified cheap Chinese Christmas train from a cheap Chinese Christmas train set. I call her Casey Jones because that's fun. She was the first model in what I'm guessing is G-scale that I ever decided to work with, because I wanted to make Thomas replicas for a while. I'll more about that later. So I thought, what better way to enter is to modify this Christmas train set to look realistic. Not only did Casey come with the train set, I also this, which wasn't painted like this. I really love how the red turned out on this coach. And it came with this. Now, all of these are still work in progress. I've tried to get Casey to run, but it doesn't really, and these still need a bit of editing. You may notice that this wagon is a bit janky, especially down here. Why? Because the bogies, especially on this one, are a cut and shut job. Also, this one worked out quite well, the tender did too. Casey herself, not really. Why? Because she was originally wider than 45mm, which I didn't know, because I didn't have any gauge 1 track at the time, but I bought some, and I realized, oh no, her wheels are too wide. I'm gonna have to re-gauge her. So I did. I thinned out her bottom plate, and I cut off parts of her axle and pushed the wheels back. This does mean that the wheels aren't properly glued in. I've had to replace this a couple of times with different pins and stuff. And the plastic's so brittle that not only did the connector to the front bogie fall off, but also the gear wheel that goes from the motor to the wheels has broken off from its plastic. So I was so close to getting her running, but I fear that might now not happen for a long time. So I might as well finish her off. Visually, I'll have to dust her off, redo the gold, because the gold paint I used is horrible. Give her some gold lining, give her some numbers. I'll finish off coach as well. I want to give her some interior too. Finish off the wagon. Yeah, I gave the wagon a custom fence, because it was originally just empty here. So I thought, nah, I'll just give it a fence made of toothpicks. Which, admittedly, looks very good. So yeah, that's the genesis of my collection. Cheap Chinese tat turned into something that doesn't look like cheap Chinese tat for the most part. After Casey, the gauge 1 bug, or well, the large scale bug, because gauge is technically G-scale, had fully bit me. So I went on eBay and I bought myself a little early Christmas present. And that was this. This is an Accucraft, I think it was a 16-ton or a 12-ton tanker. I think it was 16-ton. But I will put the correct tonnage on screen. It's just Accucraft's unmarked black version, which I bought because, first of all, it was not that expensive on eBay, second hand. Second of all, looks like a tanker used in Thomas & Friends. Yeah, easy enough, really. It's got some paint chips, because of course it is second hand. So it's not perfect, but it's lovely. The buffers are sprung, the couplings are sprung, it's very fine detail. It's very nice. So nice, in fact, that when I became a GMRA member, Gauge 1 Model Railway Association member, and I heard that Accucraft was still selling these tankers just as a 75th anniversary model for GMRA, I thought, hey, I'll have one of them. So now I've got 2 tankers. And yes, The 75th anniversary for Gauge 1 Model Railway Association, I think, was in 2022. So this model still being for sale doesn't make that much sense, but I love it, and you still can get them. I don't know if you have to be a Gauge 1 Model Railway Association member for it. If you do become a member, it's a yearly payment, not a monthly one, so it's quite affordable actually. And you get a lovely book, get access to lovely resources, and you get access to a lovely 95-pound tanker. That says 75 years. Yay. Along with buying rolling stock, I of course wanted to start making my own, specifically replicating those from Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, which, if you didn't know, used Gauge 1 models for the first 12 seasons, and people have started replicating them in recent years. And a particular Thomas modeler in Gauge 1 called Jamos Trenos, she's 3D modeled them as close to the original as possible, and has released the 3D models online as 3D printable items. Now, I didn't have a 3D printer at that time, I do now, but my cousin's had a 3D printer for a while, so I asked him to print me the parts for this. This was, well, technically this is a model of what originally was a freelance 10mm, 16mm kit for 32mm scale, or gauge, which the Thomas crew bought a kit of, and they converted it to 45mm, put buffers and couplings on it, and then had as a small little wagon in the quarry sets. And then that was season 2, and then season 3 they got a few more of them, and there's a whole rake in the show. And they're adorable, and they are quite literally the easiest to make, apart from one thing. First of all, you'll notice the paint is a bit scruffy, and I don't know why it happened, but the paint I used was like a cheap Arts and Crafts brown, and it kind of made it look bad. I tried weathering it just now, a few days ago. I don't know if you can see the black streaks. I have yet to master the Tamiya weathering powders, but I will. The one bad thing about these models is that you don't actually get axles to 3D print with them, which is good because 3D printed axles are terrible. 3D printed wheels are terrible, but these work nicely enough. I don't have access to tools to help me work with brass rod yet. I will get those because, you know, I want to get more serious into the model engineering side of things. But for this model, I used... Oh look, hold on. For this model, I used toothpicks. Actually, food picks, like the big food. You know, you make kebabs on. That's what I used, and I used some wire that I can just push fit into the wheel for it to connect to the tiny axle boxes. And honestly, this works really well. This and this wagon's sister, because yes, I made another one. These are the only ones on which the wooden axles have worked properly. I've tried on a few other wagons, and it's failed drastically. But yeah, I built another one a few months ago, and I intend to keep building more of them because I want a rake of them. And this one was printed with my own printer, which isn't as refined as my cousin's. And I didn't really do a whole good job of sanding it, which I personally don't mind, because it's my model and I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. But, yeah, once these two are weathered up nicely, and I have a few more of them, they'll be quite a cute rake, I think. Ooh. Yeah. Speaking of wagons with wooden axles, I printed this off a file on Thingiverse. I'll put the proper file, I'll put the listing on Thingiverse on screen now. And yeah, as you can see, it has wooden axles, but this is even worse because I've just broken the other one. Basically, they don't work very well. The wheels I printed are terrible, and they don't want to run. And the axle boxes are terrible and don't want to hold, and I broke this one already, and I've broken that one now on the camera. So I'm gonna have to find some other wheels for them, probably from 10mm. I can buy from Slater's, but I'd have to buy quite a bit for them to send it to Europe, which is fine, I guess. I've always wanted that Curtly Goods kit. Not that I have £900 spare, but Yeah, this wagon, I like how its paint turned out, though. I really like how its paint turned out. Nice bit of masking from me. I'll weather it later, when I have some decals on it. You might notice there's some parts in here. These are parts for an LGB Steins loco. The LGB Steins was actually my second ever locomotive. I'll put a picture of her back in her completed form on screen. Right now she looks like this. This is Lily. Poor Lily. Okay, bit of background. I hate track power. Track power trains are terrible. I've dealt with 00 gauge for years. It's awful, and especially considering I want to garden railway at one time in my life, and also want to tour other people's garden railways without having to worry about track power or any of that. I want to convert all the locos I have that aren't steam, which is currently 1, to radio control and battery power. But on a Steins, that's extremely difficult, and I haven't found the correct parts yet. By parts, I mean the correct electronic speed controller and correct battery to link into my receiver and transmitter, and it's a little bit rubbish. And then when I do find the right parts, I have to figure out how to fit them inside the body of this absolute beast, and I'll figure it out. You know what? I'll figure it out. But yeah, let me just put you away. Also, while we're here, this is of course the coach I bought on eBay a year ago, maybe. I've shown it in my previous video, on which I I've already started work on restoring it, but on which I finally started recording work on restoring it. So if you want to see that, it's the previous video on this channel. And this is the chassis of a Marklin Baureihe 80. My German's not very good. It's a Class 80. This Class 80 specifically, a GMEB 12. You might be wondering, hey, why have you stripped the cylinders and valve gear and coupling rods? It's because poor GMEB 12 is going to lose her chassis. Oh, I'm not going to do anything to the body shell because I really like it, and I would like to give it a new chassis someday. Maybe out of 3D printed parts and scraps. Reason why I'm doing this. Because when making season 1 of Thomas and Friends back in the 1980s, the crew bought a bunch of Marklin models and modified them to become the character models. And 2 of the smaller characters from that first season, Percy and Toby, used BR80 chassis. This chassis is to be cut up to become Percy, and I have a second BR80, the second one I ever bought. I call him Bob because of that one James May clip.
He's quite a sweet fellow, really. I think I'll call him Bob. Moments later, Bob is dismembered.
Because I have already dismembered him. I've taken off his ladder, I've taken off his pump, and I will take off more parts. Poor Bob. Bob is also a chassis donor. This is the chassis he donated. I've already cut it up, ready to go underneath Toby whenever my cousin can find the time to print me those files, because my 3D printer's on the fritz. Yeah, I cut off the ends. I still have those here, actually. Cut off the ends. This went on here. This went on here, but not really, because there was a bit more space there, but basically that was that. And I also cut these down, painted it all up nice and black. Toby did have red wheels for the first few seasons, so I'm gonna keep those. I oiled up the gears again, and yeah, basically that chassis is, well, apart from the fact it's unpowered, and I will have to figure out how to power it with a battery instead of track power. Already taken off the wire for the pickups, as you can see. He's ready to gain his side plates, I think. Not that the side plates exist yet, but you know what I mean. Okay, we're officially not going in any order right now, so I'm just gonna grab what's nearest and show it to you. My third ever engine. Oh, hold on, she's off her body shell. Was this. Another BR80, but this time the first one. And the first one, I've decided. What just fell? Oh. It's a bearing of some kind. Oh wait, it's for a screw to mount to. I'm just gonna drop it over here. The first one I've decided will be the one that survives. There are a few more Marklin models that the TV show crew used to make Thomas and Friends models from. I have vowed not to sacrifice all of them for the greater Thomas the Tank Engine good. So this BR-80 will be upgraded into RC and battery power, given some chain link couplings, and will run properly. The reason Bob actually lacks this ladder is because this ladder actually lacked on this one. So to stay within the theme of first one is the one I love, I cut off Bob's ladder and grafted it to her. So now this one is virtually perfect, apart from the fact it doesn't run properly. Yeah, I'm trying to radio control this chassis. It's not going perfectly well, but it should be fine. Ugh. I don't know if I have a name for her yet, but I'll figure one out. Next to her you can see this, who I've also unscrewed from the body shell. This is a Marklin DHG500. The DHG500 and the BR-80 were the first two locos Marklin made back in the 60s for Gauge 1, at least I'm sure. These are the starter set locos, basically. They haven't been made for a good few years, but there's a lot of them around. The DHG500 was used as a chassis for Season 2 characters Boko and Daisy. However, I'm not going to use this one for that. Again, first one, the one I love. I'm also going to try and RC control this one. I think the motor on this works a little bit better than the BR-80, but also doesn't work properly, so I'll have to see what I can do with this. I still need to make the battery packs for these, actually. Hold on. So yeah, those were... Actually, I was wrong about that. My, the BR-80 wasn't the first... it wasn't the third ever engine I got. The third ever engine I got was this lovely lady. Let me just get her cap back on for first time in a while. This is Little Star. She's an MSS live steam loco, which once upon a time used to be the Mamod SL1. She's a live steam loco. I have recently converted her to MEFS Fire with the E-NOTS valve and improved safety valve to boot. I haven't run her yet because poor girl has a water leak right there where you see the white stuff on the boiler. She's been leaking water ever since I got her. So I'm gonna have to repair that. Her motion's kind of sticky. I need to clean off the old oil. But yeah, Little Star is she's very gutsy. I once ran her at full speed on a table railway, first time I displayed my models publicly, and she fully ran off the table, which is why I've kind of Peter Sammed her. I'm not giving you a Giesel though, that would look ugly. But yeah, I can't wait to get Little Star back in running order. I mean, I named her my Little Star for a reason. She will definitely be one, as long as you don't fall off the table again. Right. Back when I started with Gauge 1, I had a bit of a kerfuffle. You know Ash Models? Great seller and purveyor of second-hand Gauge 1 models, and also O-Gauge and whatever. They were selling Ken West Kits. Ken West Kits was back then a page on Facebook. Now the page is gone, but I think Ken West is still selling his kits. And Ash Models was their distributor. Now what I bought was this. This is a great Northern Railway fish van. And I thought, hey, that's fun. I like the look of that. Fish van. The Flying Kipper, Thomas reference. Nice. I built this one incorrectly, actually. This isn't supposed to be there. They were supposed to be like longer struts, and that actually had stuff for the doors to slide in and out of. So I've actually made it so that I don't have a feature that these vans actually are supposed to have, which is opening doors. But oh well, I wasn't going to really open them anyway, and I might buy another just to have that feature for filming reasons. Now, I bought this, right? But I received this, which was a slightly less complete kit of also a Great Northern Railway fish van, but an earlier design, with the unique Calestri roof design. Not everything you see here came in the kit, as I said. The wheels are 10mm. The brake gear I cut myself out of some plasticard and isn't complete because I'm missing the handle. The detailing on the door is also plasticard. And I have yet to fit the torpedo vents. But I have some. So I'll fit those later. The couplings are... I think, yeah, the couplings and the buffers are Ken West's. They were supplied by him. And the brake hose, because fish fans are, of course, continuously braked, because they're express goods. That was 10mm as well on this one. And I got this, didn't do anything with it, then contacted Ken West about having received the wrong kit. They gave me this kit and the supplies to fix all of them. I think actually I was wrong. The wheels are both Slater's, because Ken West provided those. That's right. Slater's wheels. Ken West provided me with everything to finish both of these, except the brake hoses, because I bought those myself. And half of the kit of this, which is, I believe, a LNER 20-ton brake van. They didn't give me everything. The inside panels there are clear plasticard that I just scored a door into. I don't really mind that. You don't really see it. That door is actually better because it's more door shaped. That one was way too wide. The buffers and coupling hooks are 3D printed. The wheels are 10mm. The axle boxes are 10mm. No, they're 3D printed also from Jamos's files. So are the buffers. And the step ladders are plasticard. And the handrails are just metal wire that's a bit too big, really, but I actually don't mind it. And it's all in all a bit of a janky model, but I'm glad I finally have it, because I think it looks great. Just in its plain grey. I might weather it with some white powder, some bit of rust maybe, but I do love it. Its long wheelbase does mean that when under compression, it does buffer lock very easily, because its buffers aren't sprung. But simple fix, just run it under tension. Same with these, they're also not sprung, but they're small enough to where they don't lock up as easily. I did put them in a gloss coat. I see here that the buffer's a bit chipped, so I have to fix that. I did put them in a gloss coat because I want to put some decals on them. I haven't yet figured out how to make custom decals though, so I'll figure that out. But yeah, I really like these fish fans. I think they make a lovely pairing. And they especially pair up well with another van that I've recently gotten very close to completing, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Right. After I got those, I started eyeing eBay for more deals, and I actually found one on some very broken wagons, which I'll put on screen now. There were 3 wagons, 2 opens and 1 not coach. And I'll show you them now. I've restored them to running condition, but I've left them in a bit of a dilapidated state because I think they look quite nice that way. This is the first, a Midland Railway 3-plank. Very light. I think the planks are made out of foam board, or wood. A lot of this is foam board, a lot of this is wood. I can't really determine which is which. Because like this crumbled. You can see my putty work here, which isn't very great, and the paint wasn't a match at all, but it looks fine. And it's a bit of a mess. The coupling chain is very rusty. The hooks are a bit small, but it works. The wheels are tiny little wheels that I bought from 10mm, and I think they look great on this thing. Like, I had really big wheels. I had the wheels that I have on the brake van on that wagon before, and it looked a bit naff, but now, with the tiny wheels, it looks adorable. And it does look great with the China clay wagons. And it also looks great with the wagon that, the second open wagon that came in the lot, which is this. Which is a Lancashire and Yorkshire. What is that, a 7-plank? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep. The bracing didn't all come with it. You'll see where I've had to replace it. This I had to replace, this I had to replace, and this I had to replace. And the bracing wasn't very well done anyway, because look at that. Proper. Not proper. The bottom was falling apart, so I put a piece of plastic art in the bottom here to hold it steady. And I put some wheels on it. And the buffer is falling off. It's not that one, it's that one that's falling off. But I'll reboot in a minute. And it's not fully level, but it works. Little wagons. Don't know what's in here. I might replace them with coal or something. But that's that. The third wagon in the lot is the most interesting. This is... I don't know what this is. It can be either three things. A baggage car, a baggage wagon, put at the end of the trains. It could be a horse box, but it isn't, because a horse box doesn't look like this. Or it could be a very cut down, tiny little baby Mark 1. Oh wait, it's not a Mark 1, it's LMS. Tiny little baby LMS coach. It has double doors, which look, well, those are usually on guards compartments, so it could be a baggage van, but then again, it has a door here, which it has double doors here as well. I don't know what this is. It used to have electronics in here. It used to be a battery pack compartment for a loco. But, it's weird. I call it a tiny coach. But I think I'll use it as a baggage van. The paint isn't paint, it's like a sticker, and it's falling off. But I don't want to replace it yet, because I think it looks quite fun. The lettering's nice. The buffers are brass and sprung. And the underside was a bit of a mess, but I fixed it. The original wheels, the original axle boxes. There used to be a block there, which prevented the sides from coming back on, but it was fixed. It says M. Potter, October 1996, rebuilt August 2003. So the rebuild is as old as I am. And then, poorly, underneath it, I said, repaired by J. Hillstone, April 2023. Which is when I got this into running condition. It's a mess. It's a mess of a vehicle, but I love it, and it will look lovely with my coach as like a dual feature. And then I'll put the fish vans behind it, and some more vans, and a brake van, and then I'll have one of the Marklin engines pull it, or like an engine that I have done at the time. I don't know. That will be lovely. I'm glad to have it. It's become a cornerstone of the collection. After I bought that, I bought a lot on eBay for maybe a bit too much money, which consisted of 4 open wagons. 2 were identical apart from the livery. This is one of them. This is I don't know how many planks this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is an 11 plank. It's probably meant to be a 7 plank, but it's an 11 plank. Or maybe a 9 plank. I don't know. It says Consolidated Collieries, Limited, Return to Derby, and then some... I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'll have to look that up. It used to say that on the other side too. You can see the lettering there, but it got painted over with this same slightly lighter shade of grey on this side. So the previous owner was not the owner that did this, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe he was and wanted to rebuild it. I don't know. It has the old Milbro like Bassett Loke style couplings, and these axle guards. It's old. It's an old little wagon, but I like it. And it came with the sister, which is the same but slightly different. It's not exactly the same actually, because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a proper 9 plank. But what is Garvin Company? I don't know. I'm no expert on like Victorian or early Edwardian like private owner wagon companies. I have no clue. It says it on both sides here. Oh, that's coming off. All right, live repair, everybody. Surgery. I performed surgery on a wagon. Okay, get the super glue. Yes, I use super glue. Don't worry about it. My models are treated with the utmost care and utmost usage of super glue. Oh crud, okay. I'm sticking the super glue to myself. Don't do that. Okay, apart from a bit over there in the middle. No. Let me hold it. Okay, so Garvin Company, right? Couldn't find it. Even better is this. Return to Denmark, and Denmark is D-E-N-N mark. I'm not exactly sure if that's the correct spelling of Denmark in English. Put it on screen right now. Thank you. I haven't found a place name in Britain that says this. Put my research on screen now. Thank you. If the research says there is a place in Britain like that, then oh yippee, it's referencing that. If it isn't, I have a theory, and whoever built this wagon built it for a friend called Garvin, who lives in Denmark. Oh my okay, hold on, I'm gonna just fix this off camera. There you go. So yeah, Garvin Company, I do think it's scratch built, which is cool. Two cool little wagons. Of course, that wasn't the only thing in the lot. I am now noticing that these two wagons are not the same. I thought they were, but they're not. I did get two other wagons. I got this LMS 4-plank, 6-ton, 31014. It looks very cute. It doesn't say anything else on it doesn't say anything on this side. And it looks very nice. It's got the same couplings. These buffers aren't sprung, none of them are, I don't think. It scrapes a little bit as it rolls along. It's numbered 8 on the bottom. The couplings are sprung, but barely. And I think it's really cute. I love a good 4-plank. Nice little wagon. And then I have this, so it is an LMS Loco coal wagon with the curved ends that reminisce a bit of the LBSC. Again, doesn't say it on the back and has some weird paint scratches there. This has either numbered 9 or numbered 6. So these two definitely come from the same collection. And I think those two come from the same collection. But I don't think all of them come from the same collection because Garvin has a 12. And Consolidated Collieries has a nothing. So you're the outlier. I like these 4. They're fun. I haven't properly run them. I haven't properly run anything yet, but when I will, these will look grand, I'm sure. I do have an LGB Loco, but I have a bit more LGB G-Skill stuff that I want to show. With the Steins, I actually received 2 little wagons, which are these. These are like funfair, funny wagons that LGB made, and they're on the Feldbahn chassis, so they're like narrow gauge Feldbahn wagons. And these, I don't really use them much because they're not built for gauge 1 track. Their flanges are too deep, they hobble about on the planks, meaning they look quite ridiculous. At the same time, I bought a LGB toy, because LGB did like a toy line, and I bought this, which is like a slightly American log wagon, but on it was a toy digger with a bunch of ridiculous colors, which I repainted into this. So that's that now. I did run this. This does run quite nicely on the gauge 1 track. It does hobble, but it's smoothly hobbling. And then, at a train, not at a train show, at a steam gala at my local heritage railway, I got a train set without a track, but with wagons and engine. This was one of the very cheap LGB starter sets from years of old. It had 2 of these little wagons, little Feldbahn opens. This one had this little part broken off. I think this one rolls. Oh, this one rolls very smoothly. This one, not so much. And with this with those 2 came my only running Loco, as of now. This. The battery. Oh wow, she's dusty. Okay, I'm so sorry. Oh, I need to dust this place. The battery-powered 99 5001, which works very well. I have retrofitted her with tiny little couplings made out of wire, so she can pull gauge 1 stock, and she's currently the only operational loco in the fleet. Oh yeah, this part was broken off on that side, so I also had to repair that. So, I like her. Here's another thing I forgot to show. While printing my small china clay wagon, we had a failed print. This printed just below the buffer line. It should have printed a bit further down. So I turned it into a coal stave. It's my first completed model of something. In this scale anyway, and it looks nice, right? Look at that, coal stave. Lovely. What else? After buying, I think it was the set of 4, I thought, you know what, I want to build something. So first I used the 3D printer, and I came up with, well, I didn't come up with this, I just printed this. This is a little tipper wagon. I'll put the Thingiverse listing on screen. Now this is another model with wooden axles, and it runs very well, but the wheels themselves, the flanges aren't great. It does run nicely on the straight, but on a corner it'll just, I mean, I can just push it off the track really. It's not good. And the tipper itself, I had to put a little tab lock in there so it would stay upright when I pushed it like this, and it would just tip like that there. You can clearly see where I had to, oh, it's on this side, where I had to putty it. I've tried weathering it with rust. It hasn't worked that well so far, but I will keep trying. And yeah, that's a little 3D printed wagon. After that one and that one, I thought, maybe I should just scratch build one. So I did. This is a van. I based it off a LBSC 8-ton van used during Thomas and Friends, although I made it quite significantly shorter. So I call it the 6-ton or 4-ton van. The primer's kind of letting loose, so I'm gonna have to redo that. But I have painted the underside now, so it's nice. This is fully made out of plasticard. The buffers are Jamos Tranos prints. These couplings I think are 10mm. I have. How do I keep doing this while I'm filming? Stay in the fucking axle boxes, please. There you go. And the wheels are 10mm. But yeah, I'm gonna turn this into something really fun, and it might be a bit divisive in the community, but I don't care. This will be something great. It's one of my most smooth runners. It's one of the most smooth running vehicles in my collection, which is extremely ironic, because I built it myself. What the f- Then I found a website whose name I'm forgetting, but I'll put it on screen now, where I found 2 cheap wagons. Cheap for my doing anyway. They were like $40 and $20 a pop. Let me actually grab £20 van. This is an old Bassett Loc 10-ton van. Northeastern. Unfortunately, it's not in the greatest condition. As you can see, the lacquer has gone horribly sunburnt and is scraped off. Underneath the lacquer is lovely paint, but I don't know how to get this off without damaging the paint, so it's just a bit brown. It looks like someone dropped soy sauce all over it. Clearly see the Bassett Loc logo there. This is nice. The flange is also a bit too deep for the track, which is such a shame. Like, this is fine, but then this is a bit rumbly. I'll probably have to sand down the flanges, which is a shame. But I do want this van to run, because I like it. And I like my vans. You know, train of vans. It looks lovely. It's fun, and I got it for cheap, so, you know, gotta make it work. With this van, I also got one of the heaviest item in my collection, apart from, you know, the metal, change of metal chassis. I think this is heavier though. This is a bogie bolster, which is just full block of wood with like full metal axle boxes, greased up and everything. This chain is fine. This chain is rusted through, so I'm gonna have to do some stuff with that. The buffers are sprung. This coupling is a bit bad, and this one is not that bad. But it's... oh, it's heavy. Ooh, it's heavy. And it's great because I can just put anything on here. That doesn't really fit very well. But you know what does fit? The chassis for Toby. This is where I've been storing it for now. Yeah. I really like this bogie bolster. It's lovely. It'll be good to weigh down live steam locos, especially like Little Star. I don't even know if Little Star can pull this, but if she can, she'll definitely not be fast enough to run off the table. Around the same time I bought these, I found an eBay listing for £20 for 4 wagons. Not very complete. They were all in like states of disrepair. But I got it. It was an auction. I won it for £20, which is insane because not only did I buy 4 wagons, I got a 5th wagon chassis with it. Let me show you. The most complete wagon was this. This is a Southern Railway van. It wasn't perfect. The axle boxes I had to re-glue a bit, and I think I haven't done it perfectly because I think one of the that set is not perfectly straight. But it runs, if imperfectly. I'll have to fix that. You go over here. This coupling hook is a bit sideways, and I've just noticed. And this one is too. I think it's an old... no, it's not an old 10mm model, because it looks a bit too hand-built, but it does look like it. I'm not exactly sure what this is, but it's a lovely little model. Southern Railway van. The axle boxes are supposed to be sprung, but it doesn't really work very well. And now I've just made it hobble. It's definitely this set that I've... oh Christ. I'm a bit strapped for phone storage at the moment. So if it jump cuts to a different part of the day, you'll know why. Second item I got on that lot is this. It is a custom built Linton and Barnstable van. The roof is a bit bad and it's a bit knackered, but it's really cool. It has a sensor here that picks up when the wheel spins, and when it was working, it would generate a chuff chuff sound because of the thing in here. Hold on, there you go. It would generate a puffing sound via all the bits in here, which I have actually broken. I filmed myself checking out if this worked, and it worked, and then I broke it. It was basically one of those wagons you hook behind an engine that doesn't have a sound card in it to give it sound, basically, and it's fun, and I might want to return it to that one day, but it's broken now. Third wagon in that collection is quite cool. Oh dear, oh dear, oh. It is this, and also this. It's a pillbox brake van. Well, it doesn't have axle boxes or wheels. It does say, what does that say? Support. Yeah, true. And you'll notice the connector for a 9V battery. Now I have a 9V battery here. I don't know if it's charged. Let us take a look, shall we? Does this 9V have any charge left? Yes, it does. It's got a tail lamp that actually works. Ha ha ha! This is great. I can't wait to get this. Well, I can wait because I'm working on the coach. But after that, I'll probably work on, well, on him under there and on the 2 others. But I'll definitely want to get this brake van ready, because having a second brake van, first of all, is nice, because then you can run 2 full trains at the same time. But also, this brake van is cool, and I like it. 9V battery for tail lamp, hell yeah. And the 4th wagon that was advertised in the eBay listing, was this. I think it's meant to be an iron-bodied wagon, because it's not plank detail. It used to have coupling holes, but it got covered up for some reason. The buffers are gone, the shanks are still there, and the boxes are gone. And well, it probably used to have like a coal load in there or something. And I don't know. I'll probably put some stones in there, fix her up, make her a quarry wagon. That should be fun. Now, I did say that was the last item that was advertised. However, I did in the package also receive this. Minus the couplings, I added those myself. This is, I think, an old G-scale chassis for like one of those cheap train sets. But it works really well. It's a bit bumpy, but it runs well. It's very nice. So I thought, what to do with this? And then I remembered my first attempt at making a replica of Annie and Clarabelle, Thomas the Tank Engine's coaches, which the 3D prints of the sides didn't really go to plan. So what I did is I cut those sides up and I re-glued them together as a bit of a shorter coach, which is this. I made up some end pieces that look like the Stroudley ends, made of plasticard. You can see here where I Frankenstein connected the parts together on both ends. And made of plasticard, I have started on a roof with some lattices. That's not enough to keep it at a good shape, so I'm gonna have to add more, which is what that is, actually. But for now, I'm also gonna have to extend the buffer beams to beyond the coach end. But for now, I'm quite happy with this little thing. Look how cute it is. It's gonna be great. Speaking of Annie and Clarabelle, I've got the parts for them. Up there are their ends, the face ends and the not face ends. Got the side panels here, and nearing completion, I actually have their chassis, which look nice. It's a bit dusty. This is the chassis for Annie. I know that because she has the lowered buffer beam to meet Thomas's, because Thomas's buffer beam was low as hell, and of course I'm going to replicate Thomas, so it'll be like that. The wheels are 10mm. I had to edit them heavily to fit in there because they were too wide. The axles were too wide, but it works. Here's Clarabelle's chassis. They're going to be quite long. Just let you see just how much I shortened this coach. But yeah, I'm going to have fun with this. This is also the orange I'm going to be using on Annie and Clarabelle. I think it'll look quite good. Before I speak about replicating Thomas the Tank Engine, however, I will have to talk about 4 more vehicles. Northern Fine Scale. Northern Fine Scale's creator passed away in 2022. And thus the brand Northern Fine Scale is gone. I think as of filming this, the event in which the last of the Northern Fine Scale kits are to be sold at is going on right now. So, yeah, that's the end. And as someone new to the hobby, I thought, oh, I'll never get Northern Fine Scale kits, because they were too expensive anyway. And now I won't get them. But now, I have a bit more money, so they're not too expensive. And I found one on eBay, first of all, which is this. This is a 7 plank that I have started weathering. This is my first foray into weathering, and it's a bit heavy. But I like it. It's a coal truck. I'm trying to make a model of this Thomas the Tank Engine toy. It's Fred Pelhay. The face is pending. And also the decals. I have no idea how I'm going to do that, but I have some ideas. I'm going to try and make a gauge 1 model of Fred, which will be funny. The wheels are 10mm. They weren't included in the listing. I also had to edit those heavily because they also wouldn't fit. Then I contacted David Morgan Kirby on Facebook, who set me up with this kit, which is the Northern Fine Scale BR Ventilated Corrugated End Van. With wheels and all, full Northern Fine Scale kit. The painting isn't done. It's not great, and I have some paint bleed from the roof. Like, this isn't good. But yeah, it looks good. I used the same primer I used on the fish fans. So if I take little star out, this actually is quite the nice rake of vans. Even if I've again broken the wheel. I keep doing this. Yeah, my relationship with the wheels of wagons isn't very good, which means it's a miracle that the wagon I built myself has the best wheels. So So yeah, that's currently my Northern Fine Skill collection. I think I am still to receive another Northern Fine Skill van from the kits that I haven't sold yet. I'm not exactly sure on that. I'll update later. But yeah, that's the Northern Fine Skill kits. Rest in peace, Northern Fine Skill. You're lovely. And last two wagons I have to show, except for that weird little 1 in 35 scale kit that I don't really like, so we're not going to talk about it. These two are Ken West kits, like these two, that are bought on Ash models, like that one. And they're of two Midland Railway vans. I think this is a tariff van? I'm not exactly sure what that is. I put the sides up upside down. They're supposed to be like that, but I put them upside down. I filmed that for a YouTube video that doesn't exist. I decided not to continue that. But yeah, this is a tariff van. They just came like this, so I'm not exactly sure what well, I know what I'll need to buy to finish them off, but we'll see how that happens. This is a little tiny van. Look how small it is. It's so small. It's about the same size as the... Okay, no, the 3-plank is smaller. But like, it's so small. It's adorable. It's gonna be a lovely little van, and I'm gonna enjoy it very much. Eventually, when I find time to finish these. And then last but not least, we have the one, the only, him. Thomas the Tank Engine was printed at around the same time as the first China Clay wagon, which unfortunately means that his files, the files I used, are very old. These are the first generation of Jamos's files. Jamos is currently on her third. Like, we have a third gen of Thomas files, which are way more accurate and way easier to print. But I'll stick with this one because I've gotten this far. I'll need to redo the black, maybe the blue as well. But other than that, the painting here is progressed quite nicely. I also have some other painted parts, such as the roof, the bottom part of the whistle. Sorry, phone storage ran out. These bits that go in front on the buffer beam, on the running board, the splashers and the steps. I do have a running board, but it's bent as hell and I'm having a new one printed. But, the roof! You can kind of see how he would come together if, like this, apart from the ladders, because I couldn't really fit them under. Yeah. I've also got some faces I'm working on. Actually, I'll get the best one out. There. Oh. He's not very happy about that. Oh, poor boy. I'm working on his eye control mechanism right now, which is controlled by some servos connected to a FlySky FS i6 controller, specifically with this. So they did in the show. Maybe not exactly the FlySkys, but yeah, it'll look good. I forgot to mention, I have these 10mm brake pipes, because Thomas had them in Season 1. I think that looks cool. And last but not least, we have, of course, the troublesome truck faces, and some wheels. Anyway, my phone battery is absolutely... no phone battery, phone storage, absolutely terrible, so I'm gonna have to cut it here. But, thank you all for watching. If you want to watch more, do please subscribe. I will start to make more videos about this as I fix and fettle and repair and create. So thank you for watching. Goodbye. See you next time. And remember, Fred knows your sins.